All right, Frankenstein he's alive. So we got new bearings.
We got some new bearings. Each one of these will be independent now.
Now, wasn't this supposed to be a cultipacker, or is this a different one?
Well, this is a cultivator, and I stripped it down and took extra parts off of it, and it was a cultivator, but I'm using the guide wheels as my packing wheels.
Looks like brand new again. Heavy lift for that NX without a ballast anyways. Hey guys, Kapper here, welcome back. So this is my homemade chisel disc harrow, and I busted it up on the Ozarks here this last year, first time here. So the bearings blew out on it, and the rear harrow kind of got wonked up from all the rocks. So anyways, I took it over to Phil's, and he's going to give us an update on what we did for repair. So this is back up and running. My heavy-duty 8-foot disc that I broke a few parts, I got that patched back together. And then we're going to go over Phil's Frankenstein. He built a new implement out of 2 different ones. We're going to go over that. But we are getting ready for mega acres of corn and soybeans on both of our farms, battling the rocks in the Ozarks. Woo! All right, there you go. Well, I puckered on that one. Yep. Not bad. Hey. I can imagine.
My last night and this morning, it's my hands. Like I could just barely move. One of these fingers would lock, and I couldn't get it to open back up.
All right, Frankenstein he's alive. So we got new bearings.
We got some new bearings.
How did the swap out go?
Wasn't too bad, other than I took this apart 3 times because of trying to get it lined up, because this was stationary to get it. You know, this bearing might have been a little thicker than the other one because there's a couple of shims that we didn't quite need that were on the other one. But I tried to, this one I missed. It's got the greaser to the front. They were supposed to be in the back. I missed that one. I would also go ahead and, after you run it about 15 minutes, double check these, because I mean there was no way to find out. The bearings that were in there were not original bearings anyway. These were machined to make whatever they had work. At least these are brand new.
How bad was the axle?
Well, the axle's fine.
Okay.
Because the center was still there. The bearing that they used just came apart, got dry.
So does their actual ball bearings rubbing against the axle? Or how do
no. So there's a collar there, and then there's a race on the outside, and then the bearings rotate inside of that. So the bearings do not run on the axle.
So there's a smooth
square. Because
smooth,
it's a square. It's a square shaft. It has to have its own round. See what I'm saying? Is this a
the unit square? Yeah.
It's square because your shaft is square. Your shaft is square for your for your disc, so your discs don't spin.
Okay.
That's how the discs stay in place. So then So then you can kind of see that metal piece there. Then there's ball bearings, and then there's a race on the outside of that, all enclosed in there. So, these bearings aren't, I mean, they're not cheap, but they're so easy to replace. You need to grease it. You do need to grease it still.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
With that, once I had to take the twist, that got twisted up somehow or another. I don't know if that was. I had to.
Well, these things got janky on me right near the very end.
Yeah,
I don't know if
it's still not perfect, but it's better. So what I did was I through bolted and put a tack weld on that now, and so that should be a lot better.
On the weight? Oh yeah, I see.
On the weight.
Okay.
So it has a bolt and it has a tack weld. So it should have both.
Man, I can't believe I made that mistake on that piston. We'll see how much it irritates me if I order another one or not.
What's that?
I didn't get the locking. You know, on your
yes,
there's
I understand. Yeah, because
because now it bleeds out.
To get this up, I had to take a ratchet strap.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
slowly pull it back together.
Right. I can't believe I made that mistake. First mistake in my life, I think, but oh well. Are you done with your Frankenstein, or what are you doing with? Or,
Well, you need another one of those red link units, 2-link units, or I need to come up with something for a center. If I could come up with something even like a tire, where I could put a tire like this. Like if I could come up with some kind of unit like here, I could put that in to make my press. But I checked it out yesterday. It works pretty good. Each one of these will be independent now. I didn't want to try to reinvent the wheel because these came on a 2x3 or a 4x6. So I just went ahead and made some wood blocks for it right now. If down the road I don't like this or they loosen up or something, I'll readjust
now,
it.
wasn't this supposed to be a cultipacker, or is this
well,
a
it is
different one?
well, it's both. So this is a cultivator, and I stripped it down and took extra parts off of it. This I had delivered. You and I went and got this unit.
All right, we made it home. Phil's got some big plans for this.
And it was a cultivator, but I'm using the guide wheels as my packing wheels.
Okay.
For packing in. So it'll have high and low just like a cultipacker, but each one of these will be independent to roll over big rocks.
Okay.
Now if I could find another one of these, then I could put something. I need one for the center. I need something right here.
Oh yeah.
Frankenstein's monster. And I haven't decided what I'm going to do, or if I'll just build my own or whatever. I'm staying out of the mud because it's a wreck everywhere.
Ridiculous.
But I went and I disked up a little bit last night just to see.
Oh, and this nasty wet?
It did really, really well. I sent you the video via email.
Okay.
The worked ground, it was good.
Okay.
Like everything else, nothing pulls sod up. I need a 4-bottom plow to turn the sod over is what I really need.
These wouldn't go down enough for ripping the sod up, huh?
They clog up.
Well, yeah, that
They
too.
clog up. That's the problem with sod.
But if it's drier, you got a much better chance.
You got a better chance. But at that point, you might as well just take the disc and see if you can turn it over.
Well, are these knives?
These are real wide. So
right, are they angled
so
though?
they're like a shovel. Yeah, they've got an
okay.
angle.
Well, it's just too wet. I can't use mine when it's wet either. But when it's just a little moist, these will work great.
You can kind of see about how wide that is.
Yeah, these will work nice.
Well, what all these are for is this isn't to work the dirt so much. I'm still going to disc that. I still want to disc it, I believe. or anything new. What this is for is so after you disc, we go and we're going to use the cone spreader. We're going to spread our corn and beans, our mix, and then this will come along, and that big wide shovel is just going to pick dirt up and lay it on top of the corn and beans and put it under. We can guide it and get it to where it's about 2 inches deep. You know, anywhere between 1 inch and 2 inches for corn and beans is good. We're not farming, but we're farming for whitetails, and that'll flip it over, bury that seed, and then the cultipacker will just help push it back down, bust any extra clods in case we get a seed that's directly under a big clod, because it'll break its neck trying to get around it or above it,
right.
and that'll help break up some clods as we go, and give us at least a little bit of cultipaction. I didn't want to use a drag to cover them because I didn't want to pull them back on top. I want to just dump them and then go. Once this buries them, we don't want to touch it again. We just want to cultipack it. But that will roll over pretty much any rock. You know, we can roll over probably a 10-inch, well, maybe not, maybe a 6-inch rock right there, but that's going to bust it out of the way. So you know, any rock that's this big, we can get over the top of, or it'll push it out of the way, or whatever we got to do. But that's gonna be a lot better than trying to use a planter. I mean, yeah, you can buy a $20,000 planter, $16,000 planter, but
yeah. Well, even still with the rocks, you know,
it's gonna beat them to death.
Yep.
It's gonna beat them to death, and unless you buy a super high end unit,
Yep.
I watched another YouTuber, and he compared a Great Plains to, I don't know if I should even say the one that he compared it to, but he did. He compared it to a Genesis, and after 400 acres on each one, the Great Plains didn't need anything, and the PH, the Genesis, it needed all kinds of parts. So at 400, and this was a big professional food plotter, bigger than us, you know, and so it doesn't matter what you do, rocks are going to beat on them
Yep.
really hard, unless you're going to spend $30, $40, $50, $60,000.
Well, even still, then your repairs are that much bigger for parts and all that.
Right. At that point, you might as well just buy a cheaper unit, beat it to death, throw it away, and get another one.
Well, or just do what we're doing.
Do what we're doing. This is, you know, I've got $1,200
Wow.
in this.
Nice.
Right now, I got $1,200 in this, but it's also dual function. I can go out there and I can rip that field up with it.
Yeah.
I can rip that field up with it, and you'll see that in that video I sent.
Sweet.
It's fine. That's not going to hurt anything. So these, you know, this piece of equipment, these two pieces of equipment are probably 40, 50 years old.
Yeah.
And you can pick them up cheap enough. You can maybe get them a little cheaper. I found where somebody had just like a little 4 unit like that, but it's all the way in Iowa, and I don't feel like driving to Iowa to go buy, because I only need one piece.
Yeah.
I'll wait and see if I come up with something, or I might make something myself. I think I'd like a tire, so that way it gives me, the reason why I didn't come all the way out with any of this and I pulled those off is because I'm using these.
Did I give you those bush hog tires?
No.
Did we look at them? I feel like I got to see if I still got them.
But I wanted the tires to use them as my gauge wheels, so I know where I've been.
Yeah.
You know, that implement tire leaves a very distinct pattern.